How's it going? Hope everybody had a good weekend. We're continuing our non-objective compositions. Last week, you did some practice sketches. Should have came up with 4. Submitted those. If you haven't submitted those, you need to do that quickly. We're getting close to the end of the 6 weeks, so all those assignments that aren't being turned in are going to end up as zeros. So even if you don't have week 1 or week 2 done yet, go back and get those turned in. Those were the easiest assignments. But for this week, like I said, we are going to continue, but this time you're going to be creating your own final outline. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to look at the sketches that you came up with from last week, see the parts of the different ones that you like, and kind of put them together in a new, interesting way. You just want to make sure that you are following a couple things. Most importantly, take your time. This is something that you could do in 3 seconds if you wanted to, but the more time you put into it, the better it's going to look. Okay, and you're going to be working on this for a while, so take your time and come up with a good composition. But you want to have variety in the size and the shape of your objects, which means everything shouldn't be round or globby, or everything shouldn't be straight lines. Get a variety. Some should be thin, some should be thick, some can be curved, some can be straight, some can have points on them. But make sure you have a variety. Make sure that they overlap each other. Not every single one has to overlap with something, but there should be some multiple points of overlap. Things should be going off the edge of the paper. And again, it doesn't have to be all 4 sides. Everything doesn't have to go off, but that should be part of it. It doesn't look as good when everything's just confined within the borders. And make sure it's done lightly. Make sure that if you're drawing a straight line, to use a ruler or a straight edge. And if you're doing something curved, if you have a circle, use that, something to trace. But if not, take your time and make it look nice and neat. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a quick example of what not to do, because I was seeing a lot of these in the sketches that you had, that you turned in. That is not a very good triangle. You see the lines just go off the paper. This bottom part isn't curved. These corners don't look very straight. I did that in like 1 second. This is without a ruler. But again, it only took me about 3 seconds for that one. So spend a little bit more time, because this looks 100 times better than this. This looks like first grade. This looks like you're in high school. Okay, so I'm not able to use a ruler and hold this, so I'm just going to take my time and draw straight lines not perfect, but as perfect as I can, steadily. But I want you to take your time, and like I said, if it's something curved, make it curved, get some variation, get some parts that are thick, some parts that are thin, get some overlapping, get things that are coming off the paper. All right, and make sure you get a variety or variation in the size of your objects. Okay, you don't want to have everything small or everything big or everything medium. Get some small, get some big, and remember, you can get some repetition in there. That's kind of where the same object is repeated. So I got that triangle there. I might draw another one here. It's kind of just getting gradually bigger. And I might even have it just kind of implied going off the paper there. Okay. But But like I said, you want to have some variety. Like this is kind of sharp, but it's still curved. This is straight. This is organic. You can get some more. Make sure you get some overlapping in there. Remember I showed you about the how to do a ribbon. You can do a ribbon shape. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Let's see. All right, so for the ribbon, remember you have to go from the very edge, and you can go straight down if you wanted to from the farthest point, or you can even slant it in. But each of these have their own point. This is. All right, so you can do something like that. And remember, that's the one I was trying to remember, the negative space. You want to get some interesting negative space in here, like this shape. This is different, this is smaller, this is bigger, this is kind of curved. You want to make sure you get some interesting negative space, get some overlapping. So I might have something short and thin coming out. Over here it's overlapping and going off the paper. And there's an infinite amounts of ways that you can create a non-objective composition. But in order to make a good one, you need to take your time and kind of think about it. Look at it and start thinking about what would look interesting here or there, overlapping, the size, the shape of it, the direction that it's going. Remember, you can use three-dimensional forms also. Some cones here. Get this one overlap since it's smaller. All right, so that's what you want to do. Kind of come up with something, and I see that there's a negative space here. Kind of. And I didn't see anybody do this, but also remember, you don't want to use like hearts or stars or things that look like clouds, because then it starts getting away from non-objective and kind of looks like elementary art. This part can go behind it. All right, so think about the negative space. Make sure you get some repetition in there. Get some variation in the size and the size and the shape of your objects. And most importantly, take your time, because like I said, this is, oh, come on, marker. This is non-objective, but it's not very well thought out and not very interesting. Okay, so take your time, and yours should look something completely different from mine. Come up with your own style. Pick the shapes, the forms that you think are interesting. Use those, arrange those in a way that that overlap, has interesting negative space, and creates a good composition. All right. If you have any questions about this assignment, leave them in the comments or send me an email. And be ready for part 2. Oh yeah, well, for this part, remember, you are only drawing it, so don't start tracing, don't start coloring. All right.